The Netflix movie Nowhere 2023 is a remarkable source of inspiration. The opening scene of the film shows us some people in a van, and they are hearing an announcement on the radio that France is the 10th country joining hands with the government in support of the anti-shortage measures. People rush out of the van in panic after hearing updates over the radio. Nico and his pregnant wife, Mia, are among them. A contractor brings them to a local harbor. As they get out of the van, they run among the containers to escape. When a dog blocks their way, they change direction. They also keep hiding from the helicopter's light. Helicopters from the government are flying everywhere in an effort to find people who are immigrating or hiding. A helicopter spots some of these individuals, and they are warned that if they do not submit, they will be shot to death. Nico and his pregnant wife, Mia, successfully manage to hide and escape. Here they meet Leiter, who is a smuggler. He sends people abroad through maritime containers and charges heavy amounts. Leiter demands more money, claiming that the rules have changed and that the greater the risk, the greater the reward. They have given everything but have no choice. Leiter demands their wedding rings. Maya insists that they have given everything. Now, why is this? Nico ignores her request and removes both his own and her wedding rings. Now Leiter allows them to pass. They get into a container, ready to leave for port. Both Nico and Maya get into the container. As they get in, the container is closed. After a while, someone turns the light on, and we see many other people who are fleeing the country. Nico asks Maya about the unborn baby, and Maya removes the bandage she is wearing to hide her belly and replies that everything is okay, but for a while, the baby has not moved. A woman opens a broadcast channel to listen to the broadcast. Journalists criticize anti-shortage measures, saying that first they asked for a little sacrifice of elders, and now they are killing pregnant women and children. This will make it worse than solving it. There might be other solutions. Nico takes a chocolate out of his pocket and asks Mia to eat it when they get to Ireland to celebrate liberty. Mia notices a young girl, Angela. She asks Nico, "Do you think she is pregnant?" Nico says that if she were pregnant, she would not have been here alone. One of the refugees drills into the container to make a hole to allow the light into the container. Maya watches the other children and feels guilty for leaving her daughter behind. She says Uma, their daughter taken away by the military, might be alive. Nico says no. They would have killed her. Suddenly, the truck stops, and some more people rush into the truck, and Leiter shoots a gun to calm people. Another truck comes. He asks men to come into the second truck, and they force Nico to get into the other truck, and Maya runs helplessly for Nico. Nico and Mia are separated. Maya looks at Nico through a small hole in the container. She makes Nico a phone call. Helplessly, she says, "I do not want to be without you," and asks how we will join again. Nico says, "My container is behind yours." Mia looks out and notices that 107 is marked on the container, which Nico has kept separated. She tells Nico the container's serial number. Later on the way to port, Maya experiences ruthless and horrible things. She watches military killing, beating and abducting pregnant women, children, and girls on the roads. At a checkpoint, their truck is stopped by the military. The driver gives the legal papers and asks them to let him go because he might be late, but Commander Gil says that he has to open and check everything. A soldier informs Gil that a second truck has arrived. Gil advises the soldier to park it aside. He enters the container, and after examining it, he comes out and asks the soldier to shoot the container's wall from inside. So he finds distance differences. This is how he comes to the conclusion that there is a separate cabin where people are hiding. So he comes in again and warns that if you all do not come out, you will be shot dead. He says that anti-shortage measures are ruthless and painful. Gil promises to leave them if they surrender. Gil asks, "Why do you trust smugglers who take everything from you and assure you of a better future?" The young girl, Angela, opens the door. The commander gives her a brutal headshot and asks the soldiers to shoot them all. Maya has already taken a hiding place on the top of boxes where she is watching everything. After all are killed, a baby girl is seen alive and soldiers also kill her. They kill everyone except Mia, and the commander asks soldiers to take bodies out and clean everything. Truck is allowed to move on. Mia sent Nico a message about a horrible incident. She tells him that they have killed them all. They might catch you to kill, so hide somewhere. The truck reaches the port and is loaded onto the ship. She sits aside in the corner of the container. She picks up her phone and tries to watch pictures of Uma and her husband, but puts it aside in anxiety and fear. She finds a drill, a phone, and a water bottle, among other things, in the bag of a woman who has been killed on the way by the military. She grabs a jacket and uses it as a pillow to fall asleep. Suddenly, the ship meets a storm, which awakens Maya. She cries for help. She looks out from small holes in the iron wall of the container. She looks at some crew members who are opening those containers where people are hiding. She tries to call them but fails to get help, and with many other containers, her container is dropped off in the sea. As container gets flutter waver, she is dragged and jolted. So she loses consciousness. When she awakens, she notices that the water is streaming in through the holes in the container's walls, originally designed for air and light intake. She looks outside and observes numerous containers floating in the sea. She examines every wooden crate in her container in search of valuable items essential for her survival. Inside, she uncovers small empty plastic boxes, earbuds, beer bottles, a television, and an assortment of clothing, among numerous other items. She finds an adhesive tape that helps her fix the water coming into the container. Suddenly, she looks at the family photo book floating in the water, which belongs to her. She opens it and smiles, but nature does not give her more time, and she listens to people crying. As she looks out, she finds the container with serial number 17. It is drowning. She cries, calling Nico helplessly, trying to make a phone call, but before she can talk to her husband, the container gets under the deep water. Her body is breaking from the strain of pregnancy, and her heart is breaking from the loss of her husband. She keeps dialing her husband's number despite knowing that he has passed away. She sets down her phone and prepares to take her own life with a knife. Her baby moves as she considers doing it, and she senses hope for her unborn child and the possibility of another life. As she falls asleep, container begins to growl, causing her to awaken. She realizes that as the container fills with water, it will eventually sink like container 107. And later she finds a few items like fiber rope, plastic bottles, and packages, among other things, to fix the issue. She finds a pipe to be able to drain water out of the container. She binds the plastic bottle with the plastic pipe and inserts it in the higher holes. She places 2 wooden crates on the container's correct ridges, and she marks the water level with adhesive tape to count down the days until it reaches the limits. She organizes everything to determine its purpose. Additional water bottles, lighters, a drilling machine, and food packs were also discovered by her. She unexpectedly receives a call from her husband, Nico, who explains that I failed to contact you because my phone's battery was low and the driver put us off in the city. I'm coming, he promises. She says, however, that she is in a container that is cruising above the water and not on the ship. Try to survive, says Nico. I'll find you. I can't do anything more, and I miss you, she replies. Nico urges her to take action for the newborn child. You are not to blame for what happened to Yuma, says Nico. Nico consoles her, and their conversation comes to a close. She feels terrible pain. She eventually eats something. She gives birth to her child in a jolting container as another storm hits it. She preserves her placenta in a plastic container. She sets up a few things to make a bed for her child. She drills many holes in the top of the container to make a window. Noise makes her baby cry. She tries to calm down her baby and sings. She also milks her. After feeding, her baby gets asleep. Maya eats all the food and water she has. She continues working until the drill machine runs out of battery before the work is completed. She puts her SIM card into her original phone, which again does not work. In frustration, she starts throwing things all around. Later, she begins working to complete the unfinished job. She attempts to use a knife to cut through spaces, but it breaks into parts and injures her hands. Because of her hard work, she later experiences severe hunger. She searches for more food, and she becomes aware that everything is over. Unfortunately, she has to consume her own placenta. She discovers that some large sharks are assaulting her container as she finishes her meal. This points to a different issue that she might face at any point in her survival. Because of hard work and hunger, she is too exhausted to do any more work. She sits down and dreams of her husband and daughter, Yuma, arriving. As she wakes up, she realizes that it is raining, which enables her to obtain fresh water. She removes the drilled portion of the container using fiber rope. She is prosperous. She comes out of the container with her new baby. She talks with her baby. She decides to catch fish as part of her plan to prepare meals. She uses fiber ropes to create a fishing net so she can catch fish. She does this with some tools, and she also gets fish. She is compelled to consume uncooked fish, which she does. She notices a commercial flight. She enters the container and finds a piece of mirror to offer the signal. She injures her leg as she climbs back out of the container. She sends out a signal that reflects sunlight towards flight, but it is unsuccessful. She keeps pulling water out of the container and catching fish. She throws sews in plastic boxes in the sea so that someone might find her. She names her daughter Noah. One night she notices that Noah is getting cold, so she starts a fire using alcohol. She notices something disturbing. To check it out, she climbed out of the container. At that moment, she receives a phone call from Nico, who tells her that while stealing a boat, a soldier shot him. Now he is injured and hiding. Mia puts her phone next to Noah so that Nico can talk to her. She discovers the water is about to reach its limit. While constructing a small raft by hand using wooden crates, plastic items, and fiber ropes, she looks at a board on the container, which means she is near a landmass. Water pressure reopens the holes in the container. She realizes that soon it will sink. She sets a new fire. As she gets into the container to take pictures and her Snickers bar, her leg is tangled with some ropes, but she manages to swim out. Water pushes the baby away from the sinking container. As she comes out of the container, she starts finding her baby. A shark passes near Noah and expels water, which makes her cry. Noah's voice leads Maya to find Noah. The next morning, while floating around, Maya opens a plastic container and throws some fish, which catches the bird's attention. She is now exhausted and losing her consciousness. Seagulls pay a visit. A woman in a nearby sailing boat observes a bunch of seagulls flying above. The woman asks the old man to get closer to where birds are flying. When they arrive, they load a tiny boat onto their boat. They find a newborn child. The woman notices that the raft is tied down by a rope. As they pull it, they seize Maya. They apply CPR until she wakes up. As Mia wakes up, she takes her child with her on the boat, and she sobs. Mia and her baby are saved by an old English-speaking couple. This is how the movie ended. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos.